In today's video, I want to talk to you about something that's a little more on the serious side, but it's something that I think is so important, and if you are going to be participating in a cross-cultural experience, it comes down to the way we define one word, and that one word is the word poverty. So, how would you define poverty? Now, if you're anything like me, you may be thinking poverty is lack of access to necessities of life, like food, shelter, and water. And although that's true, I think one of the most helpful resources that I've ever read, it's a book called When Helping Hurts, really showed me that poverty is actually so much more than what I initially thought. You see, they did a study where they talked about 60,000 people living in low-income areas in about 60 developing countries, and they asked them that exact question. What is poverty? Here's what they said. Illness, humiliation, shame. We are cripples. We are afraid of everything. We depend on everyone. No one needs us. We're like garbage that everyone wants to get rid of. I don't have food to bring to my family. I feel ashamed standing before my children when I have nothing to help feed the family. We have not celebrated any holidays with others. We cannot afford to invite anyone to our house. We feel uncomfortable visiting others without bringing a present. This constant feeling of depression, unhappiness, and low self-esteem. We have no say in public. I feel inferior. There's no progress in my family. There's famine in my house. I feel powerless and unable to be heard. My hunger is never satisfied and my thirst never quenched. If you are hungry, you will always be hungry. Our destiny is to be poor. You probably noticed that people living in poverty seemed to mention having a lack of materials, but they talked about poverty in a much more psychosocial kind of way than a lot of Westerners do. They talked about a lot of shame and emotions that go alongside of lack of material things. It's important to compare our perception of poverty to people who are living in poverty's definition of it, because the way we define this can have severe consequences in our poverty alleviation efforts. If we go into another context with the mindset of what we think poverty is, unintentionally, we may reinforce the feelings they described in that very study. Feelings of shame, dependence, isolation, and the feeling that they're a charity case.
And as being part of probably hundreds of teams in the past 10 years, I've really seen this play out in reality. For example, when people come and want to give money and throw money at a problem, what it's creating is that these women or whoever they're giving money to is really thinking that they need that person and they depend on that person. That really creates a low self-esteem and not really having the confidence to survive by yourself and to do what you want to do and to be where you want to be. Another example of where we could get this wrong is when you come with an assumption that people need a toothbrush and a toothpaste. That may be a need, but without the right relationship, that may be sending the wrong message. You might be reinforcing that feeling of I'm not enough, I'm dirty, I can't afford that, I cannot get that.
So our challenge to you is to really take some time to think about this definition and how you might view poverty, and figure out a way on a daily basis through this experience, before, during, and after, to really reflect on what that looks like, and also just know that we don't always get it right. We do the best that we can with the information we have, and we learn along the way.